Ladies and gentlemen,
I want you to give a warm welcome to our friend, Mr.
Bob Dylan.
I've almost exclusively worked with older actors or actresses that are very generous of time and of spirit. Just on the top of mind today, I saw Matthew McConaughey the other day at a University of Texas game. He's someone that throughout my life has just been very mentor-like, and even just reading his book, absent of a dialogue with him, is super informative. I was thinking the other day too on this movie Love the Coopers I was on, Diane Keaton, so I was in a Honey Wagon, which is not a great place to be spending all day, you know, and she was so generous with me on that movie and so went out of her way to make sure I felt, you know, like part of the cast, and it was just so lovely to me.
Gosh. I mean, I'm lucky because I have a sister who's in the industry, so I've had a built-in role model my whole life. All I've ever wanted to be was her. She's like my #1 person, you know? I've really been lucky to work with a lot of incredible actresses. I've worked with Nicole Kidman twice before, and I've worked with Michelle Pfeiffer before, and we're about to do a show together, the three of us. So then I'm lucky that I have people in my life that I feel like I can reach out to in this crazy business, you know?
Me around the world in 80 days, huh?
It's a magic carpet ride, just full of wonder, full of wonder.
Bob Dylan was actually really involved in making modifications in the script.
I think Edward Norton was more privy to that than I was,
Oh,
but
okay.
I know Bob had a steady hand through at least one, but I think multiple script sessions with Jim, and finding the fine line between reverence to what happened and also the Bob truism that nothing is true and everything's interpretive. I have a great line in a scene with Elle. I'm not gonna say which one because I want to cherish it and keep it personal, but there was a great line with a scene with Elle, and I went up to Jim and I was like, man, this is a great line. How'd you come up with this? This is such good writing. He said, I didn't come up with it, Bob came up with it. Oh, wow. You know, like, it was so in Bob's voice, you know?
You came here with nothing but a guitar. You never talk about your family, your past.
People make up their past, Sylvie. They remember what they want. They forget the rest.
You play Joan Baez. You actually had the chance to speak with her and connect with her.
Well, Joan is really honest about herself. She's written a lot. She's written memoirs. She's very open in interviews, documentaries. But it was just really wonderful to forge a connection with her in that process and kind of hear her voice. I had studied it so carefully, you know, and just get to talk about what we were doing with the film, and it was just a really wonderful experience. She said at one point, I think I was sort of trying to be so respectful, and she was like, I'm just in my backyard watching the birds. And I was like, yeah, that's very Joan, you know, like, of course. I just felt very appreciative that she was so open.
Your songs are like an oil painting at the dentist's office.
You're kind of an Bob.
One of the things I've always loved about Dylan's records is you hear laughter around the edges in it. You know, you sort of hear the studio. You hear an offhand comment right before this track starts, or you hear him actually laugh in the middle of the song, and you get these great euphemisms and improvisations. And they were really interesting, Joan Baez, Pete Seeger, and Bob Dylan, because they all made things look easy because it was a person and a guitar or a person and a banjo. But when you get in to try to recreate what they did, you realize what virtuosos they were at playing to crowds, at the patter before the song. You know, all of us, like Boyd, when he was doing like the Johnny Cash stuff, he was phenomenal, and Monica's phenomenal. And I think everybody was enjoying getting taken away by the music. And there's a funny thing that goes on. When everybody's investing in it, there's an energy forms around it that's kind of wonderful, you know?
That's how I got so far.
Good start.